crime, politics,
All right, three,
and
two, one, you're live.
we'll do that again. We will dive deep into the world of crime, politics, and everyday issues that affect our lives. I am Felipe, a former correctional officer with over 32 years in law enforcement, having worked in maximum prisons, security prisons across Massachusetts. Now I own and operate a security company and also work as a private investigator. Chris.
How you doing? My name's Chris Kasha. I'm host number 2. I worked with the Mass State Police for 26 years. I was a canine handler for 13 of those years. I was a drill instructor at our academy, and also for 10 years worked in the private sector. And we're here to talk about anything that you want to talk about. We're going to go in many different directions. So we're looking forward to hear from you.
No, definitely. We want to hear back about a lot of stuff because we want to discuss some mental health and some issues with that, with law enforcement, and also just in today's society and what the world's going on with the pressures faced by officers and humans, just street people that are out there, you know. So we kind of just want to touch base on a lot of stuff that's going on in today's society. All right, let's get started. So one of the things that we wanted to discuss today, what do you want to talk about today, Chris?
I get so many things I want to talk about. I mean, we're talking about crime in Massachusetts, how they try to tell you that crime is going down. Well, if you're the victim of that crime, I don't think you think that crime is going down when you're the victim. We want to talk about the closing of prisons. I mean, if we're closing prisons, we're not putting people in jail. Why are people not going to jail? Why is everybody coming to Massachusetts? What's our governor doing with allowing all these people coming into our state and spending your tax dollars? There's a lot of things to talk about. There's a lot of things to uncover, and we want to talk about what we want to talk about, but we also want to hear your input on what you want to talk about and what you think. Whether or not you want to call BS on what we say, go right ahead.
All right. So why don't we start off with a topic right now? Let's talk about the crime that's going on, where we have so many political parties in Boston saying right now that the murder rate has gone down. And further investigation shows that the murder rate hasn't really gone down, but what has gone down, what has gone up is the medical part of it. The doctors, nurses, RNs, everything. They've established themselves in a hierarchy where they've learned and educated themselves with more about saving lives. So, Chris, you actually being a foot soldier out there for many years, do you have an agreement with that or a disagreement about that?
I looked at crime statistics from 1960 to 2019, and if you look at it as a percentage, population hasn't gone up drastically. It has gone up, but the percentage of murders and rapes and aggravated assaults has gone up much higher than the crime rate has as a percentage. I do agree that our doctors, nurses, EMTs, paramedics are doing a great job saving these people. Technology has greatly helped the saving of people, which in turn would lower the murder rate. But as a percentage, the population and the amount of murders that we have out there, the numbers don't jive. And again, like I said, when you're the victim of the crime, you don't care if it's going up or going down. The victims, need to be heard.
All right. So basically, what you're stating is that you do not believe the crime rates have gone down, but you believe, like what? You're talking about recidivism from the prison system? Do you think it's the same individuals that are wrapping up, that are coming out and causing the crime? Or are you saying that due to the fact that migrants and, people from other countries that are illegally here has brought the crime rates back up? Or where's your standpoint on that?
It's honestly, it could be, it's anything. It's all and above. The crime rate has gone up, but it's also recidivism. People are put into prison. I mean, that's a subject that we could spend weeks on, just that alone. they go into prison. It's a punishment. They're not being retrained or stuff like that. They come out of prison. They have no support system. The easiest path is to go back to jail. So that's part of it. Of course, repeat offenders are going to be a huge part of it. The fact that they're not helped in prisons, the fact that they don't stay in prison. You got guys committing major crimes and they get out of prison and they have an anklet, and of course they're not going to commit any more crimes on the anklet. And you got the influx of the immigrants, and you got the influx of just people coming here illegally. And of course, everything's good for them now. They're getting everything for free. But what happens when they stop getting things for free? They're either going to find a job or they're going to turn to crime. I know Healy talked about we're going to run Corey checks on all these people. Oh, we running Corey checks in Massachusetts. We're running Corey checks in Guatemala or whatever country they happen to come from. There's no Corey checks over there. No one keeps track of that stuff. You're lucky if you can keep track of that in places in the United States. And keep in mind, that's only if when they're caught. It's not what they have or haven't done. And mind you, I do not want people to think that I am, bashing immigrants or anything like that. People want to come here legally. It's a great thing. In fact, my own wife is, I call her, she's an immigrant. She came here, but she came here legally and she did it right.
You also got to explain, we also are from background of immigrants that came over
Right.
here. You being Italian, me being Cape Verdean, I am first generation here, and my mother had came over with my father, and they basically didn't take any support from any type of system. My mother, I wrote a thesis on in college just due to the fact that my mother did come here with no help at all. She worked 2 jobs to support us, gave the best of what we could get from me and my sister on just her back. So when you discuss things like that, we got to also establish that we are past immigrants, we were raised by past immigrants. My mother until this day still doesn't speak correctly, and it makes me laugh, but it's also a welcoming thing to see that she still keeps her background and everything that she's learned from that. One thing that I could say is having worked the prison systems and actually working MCI Cedar Junction, which is Walpole, I would see convicts that had years in, you're talking 10 to 15 to 20 years wrap up to the streets. And I agree with you, they have nothing, no support, no family support, nothing in there. So when they wrap up, they go right out to the streets. And what do they go to? And that I really couldn't tell you, but I can tell you this, with the years that I had behind the wall, I would end up seeing the same convict come back 3 to 4 years later with a bigger crime. And so when you talk about the support system, I definitely agree with you. That is, what do we do as a team in society to help these people reintegrate back out to the streets?
Yes, I mean, mind you, I'm all for hardworking people to come here, and again, that hardworking and just put in your time. That goes for whether you were born here or whether you're an immigrant. That's not just one way or the other. You come here, you should work. You should work a full-time job. That's basically, I'm sorry, that's at a minimum. If you're working 2 jobs, that's great for you. But you're doing it for your family. You're doing it for yourself. And whether you were born here and you were here for 3 generations or not, you know what, you need to provide to society. You need to contribute to society. You need to make things better. And again, that goes for everyone. But it always doesn't it make anybody wonder where people from very warm climates tend to come to Massachusetts? I don't want to live in Massachusetts. Massachusetts is cold and nasty, and it has its own problems. But yeah, forget about the politics. But who the hell who wants to friggin' come from a 90-degree climate and deal with 10-degree temperature? There's a reason why they come, and it's not because they love Massachusetts.
So one thing I want to say, I know we're doing this on YouTube right now, but we are live on Facebook. If anyone has any questions or anything they want to throw in, please throw your questions up, and then the hidden man in the corner can let us know what it says. I do see a couple of people up there. I just don't know if they've written a statement. Anything they've written, sir?
No, nothing yet.
Okay, but listen, if you guys got anything to say or want to bring up anything, feel free, please. One of the things you had said, Chris, that I show interest in, especially since you had the amount of years on the Massachusetts State Police, Did you deal with a lot of illegals, or like how would you guys handle that situation? I know later on in our conversations, not this episode, we'll discuss about the drugs and everything that you had to deal with. But if you were to deal with someone that was illegal and you pulled them over, is there a new statute of law that basically states that you have someone that speeds that's illegal, and all of a sudden you pull him over, he doesn't have a license or registration for the vehicle? Do you let them go? Like, I'm hearing stories that you guys just walk away.
So, all right, let's go back, let's go back like 24 years, actually a little bit long. Go back 24 years. I was working out in Springfield. One of my classmates pulled over a van that probably had 15 people in it. They all said, they're all very forthcoming. They're like, yes, we're here illegally. We are here illegally. We, crossed the border. We're here illegally. Brought them back to the barracks. After several hours of, after having in the barracks, they weren't really under arrest, but after several hours of making phone calls and talking to ICE and et cetera, and they said, okay, just let them go. It's like, well, they're here illegally. They admitted to be here illegally. That is a felon. And they're like, yeah, let's just let them go. And then just going back to, say, Trump's first term, I was talking to this waitress, so, and she was very scared about Trump getting in, that everyone's going to get deported. And I'm like, no one's going to get deported. It just doesn't happen. Criminals, yes, but no one's really going to get deported. And even now, so that's 24 years ago, nothing's changed. Even now today, you pull somebody over, and I pull them over for, say, it's OUI or whatever it is, and it's an arrestable offense. And I have them bring them back to the barracks. I have them in there for, say, 2 hours. I find out after a half hour that they are, in fact, we're here illegally. I crossed the border illegally. This is my second time crossing the border illegally. And you call ICE. And if ICE says, we can't get there for 3 hours, but your normal booking procedure is, for example, it's going to take you 2 hours to book that person and release them on bail, you cannot hold them any more length of time than it takes to book that person. So
wait a minute, go back. So you're telling me that if you book them, and one of the processes, you're also contacting ICE. So now it takes you an hour for like how long would it take you? 2 hours, an hour? Like how long to book a person?
So say it takes 2 hours to book a person, tops, we've got to book the person, you got to get the bail clerk down there, you got to get somebody down there with some cash to bail them out. Usually it's a nominal fee. And the whole process takes 2 hours, but ICE says, yeah, we'll come get them in 3 hours. You cannot hold them for any longer than the normal arrest procedures.
So that would be 2 hours, even though ICE tells you
3 hours.
So you can't hold them, even though you have another state officer, federal officer telling you hold them. But by your state law regulations, you can only hold them per the time it took you to book them in.
Correct.
So let me ask you something too. So due to the fact that I own a security company and we have to query people. So when I query people, I understand that it's an in-state query. And if a person lives out in Florida and the residence was only here pertaining to this state, that's all I have access to. Now, you guys, when you guys query somebody, is that an international query? Like, are you guys blanketed everywhere? So you're not blanketed in other countries, though.
You can do a triple I on them, which is much more inclusive. But again, we run into troubles getting online reports from some smaller states like Vermont or stuff like that. Might not have everything entered up, and that's Vermont. That's around the corner.
So what do you mean by that? They just don't have the documentation on that individual updated?
Right. It's not digitalized. It's not on the computer. They have to maybe do a manual search for different information. So when you go to these third world countries, what have they done that they just haven't been caught for? Remember, it's not on your BOP unless you've been caught.
Yeah.
If you've done 100 things but only got caught once, it's not going to happen. And I don't know for a fact, but I really highly doubt that they have digitalized on the computer and some of these third world countries with people's BOPs.
So Chris, I'm trying to process this at this time. I'm trying to vision what I'm seeing right now. So I want to go back to a time you had to deal with something that dramatic. So you're pulling up in your cruiser, and I want to know what is actually going through your mind, because I know as a correctional officer, when I'm going to a fight or a riot, my whole thing is I'm thinking about my blue shirt. I'm thinking about I need to save someone. That's all I'm thinking about. When I hear over the radio something's happening like that, we're running to it. The intensity and the heart thumping, and hopefully you're gonna make that right decision. So when you turn around, and for instance, as you stated, your buddy pulled up to this van, and there's more we can always discuss, but we want to stick to this subject. What's the first thing when you flick those blue lights on? Is there an intensity thought? Is there a mind processing thing? Are you thinking about all the legalities of it? Meaning you're going to have to learn your CMRs, your laws, and everything. Like, what goes on once you click those blue lights on?
Well, in the beginning, obviously you're pulling somebody over for some violation that you've seen. So you have to know your shit. You have to know your laws. The more you know, obviously the better it is, and the more reasons you can pull people over. And I hate to say it, in the beginning, yeah, it was exciting. You're pulling over a car, you're pulling them safely over because it's your responsibility to get them over, and you're putting the car in park, you're taking your seatbelt off, you're getting out of the car, keeping your eyes down all at the same time. But unfortunately, after a while, it becomes, it will become mundane, and you do it over and over again, and you will get lax.
But do you change? Meaning, like, does it matter? Because I know we're talking about illegals, immigrants, and things like that. Once you notice that someone is speaking like that, do you start to realize, like, does my intensity level, do I start to pay attention to more things, or is it just across the board you treat everyone the same? Like, is there an intensity difference?
No, you have to, and I do, and you just have to treat everybody the same. Everybody gets the same treatment. Guys, people think that, if you're, we'll let certain people go, or let an attractive female go for whatever reason. It's like, it's why everybody gets the same treatment. And the way I worked, if I pulled you over, for something meaningful. You're getting a ticket, almost more than likely.
So let's just say you pull me over. I don't have my license. I don't have anything to prove who I am. All right. Now you hear my accent. You ask me if I'm born in this state. I tell you, yeah, I'm born in this state. So after I can't provide any type of evidence to you, I give you a social security. It doesn't come back. Now, at this time, is that an arrestable offense?
Well, all right, you're gonna check it out. You're gonna check, giving a false name is an arrestable offense.
Okay.
And you're gonna check them out. You'll run them. Something's got to match. You just tell the guy, look, do you have a license or not? It's not a big deal. Just tell me the truth so we can get on with it. If you don't have a license, that's fine. No big deal. Your car gets towed. You get a you get a summons. It's an arrestable offense, but 99% of the time you're not going to arrest the person. But now, if you're unlicensed, again, it's no big deal. But now you give me a false name. Now you're probably going to jail, because now I need to know who you are.
But how do you make that determination that I'm giving you that false name? Even though if you're looking me up and I tell you, I don't know, I'm new to this country now. So that's my name. So I just want to know, because, like, I'm just listening to so many things now through TikTok, through all these things where people now are driving around. And to be honest with you, you pull me over. I know you're pulling me over for a reason. I'm going to provide you any information you need to make my life and task to go by a lot smoother with you, and respect you as long as you respect me. But what I've been noticing is on podcasts and TikToks, all these people that are being pulled over that are saying, these are my amendment rights. I don't need to provide that to you. I don't need to do this. I don't have to tell you this. Like, how does that become so concerning that now you're breaking a window or ripping them out of the vehicle? So I just want to know what the difference is for elevations, to see if I am a person that is illegal here. What task or how far do you go to I guess to arrest me, to do something? It's not an arrestable offense, correct? That's what you're saying.
Driving unlicensed is an arrestable offense. So right there, we're already at arrest. Can I prove, that you give me a false name? Probably not. But if I have my suspicions or other suspicions, I can just arrest you on the unlicensed and then figure out the rest as we go. when I pull you over or you get pulled over, and I understand it's going to be negative consequences for you. So you're going to be a little bit, you're going to be unhappy, maybe adversarial, but there's nothing personal as far as I'm concerned. We're pulling you over. It's nothing personal. It's business. Like you said, let's just get on with. All right, you're unlicensed. All right, no big deal. What's your name? What's your address? We'll figure it out. If there's no licensed driver there, unfortunately, I tow your car and you get a summons at a later court date to go to court and everybody goes on their way. But now you lie, you want to be adversarial, you want to say that you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that, then that turns my, I have nothing against you whatsoever, but now you're gonna lie, you're gonna be
So now
adversarial
you're
with
more
me.
aware of the situation they possibly
Yeah,
could
I
be
mean,
hiding.
right, and what else are you hiding? I mean, we never take it personal. Obviously, you're going to take it personal because you have detriment coming your way. You have to get your car and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I've always said, whenever I've pulled over people for unlicensed, which it's very common, the worst penalty they're going to get, honestly, is the tow bill.
Yeah.
The tow bill is going to be like 100, 120 bucks.
I can honestly tell you, Chris, I've been there.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
attached plates when I was 19
You're going
and
to
they got towed.
right. You're going to go to court, and that unlicensed is going to get thrown out, and nothing's going to happen with it. So it's just more or less an inconvenience. But we, at least everyone I know, does not take anything personal. I pull people over, first person, they say, "Oh, you're just having a bad day," because you're pulling me over because you're having a bad day. It's like, no, I was having a bad day. I wouldn't, probably wouldn't be pulling you over. I'd probably be doing something else.
Yeah.
But,
So how do you feel? I'm sorry for interrupting, but I'm interested in finding out. I wanted that because I was leading it up to something. How do you feel? Has the sanctuary cities now caused a different reaction to you guys? As like, I know you can't discuss on a local police, but as a state, don't you guys have you guys can cover anywhere, correct?
correct.
So that means there is no place you guys can't go to. So now you go to a sanctuary city. Does that differ in police operations or state operations? Do you have more power than a local cop to do more than they can? There is no difference. Like, what is that when you go into a sanctuary city?
No more power, no more difference. It doesn't make a difference in the world. In fact, a couple of days ago, I had to Google what the sanctuary cities were because I had no idea which, I maybe knew one or two, but I didn't know which one they were. It doesn't matter which ones they are. It doesn't matter to me. Nothing matters to me. Everything's just business. Everything's monotone. Like, let's get this done and let's get this over with. You go your way, I go my way. Take nothing personal. It doesn't matter whether it's a sanctuary city or not. I mean, look, you have Somerville on here, which I know. All right, they're trying Somerville, Chelsea, not the best places to live. Sorry about that, but
oh Jesus, I'm not part of that comment.
But,
I got family in both.
But you also have Newton. You also have Newton and Concord. Some of the places.
Yeah, Belmont.
Yeah, wealthiest cities in the state. So it sanctuary city doesn't necessarily indicative of anything.
All right. So that's pretty interesting that we've seen the different type of waves of crime levels and stuff. Because I want to get back to the crimes. So do you believe that these lower cities that have the sanctuary cities in them, I shouldn't say lower, I should just say cities, have more crime levels than a place like Newton or a place like Natick? Or do you think it's pretty well all the same? Like if Chelsea has a burglar, so doesn't Natick.
Not speaking from fact or didn't look that up or anything, but I think we all can agree that Chelsea is going to have a little bit more crime than Natick or Newton, just based on the amount of population, even not just necessarily who's living there, but just more people there is going to bring more crime and stuff like that. But I think you're going to have a little bit more crime in sorry, Somerville, than you are going to have in Newton.
I find it interesting though, Chris, because of where you live, and I've known you for Jesus, how long?
40 years.
Yeah, easily over 40 years. And the area you live in, it's pretty well off per se. And you told me that you had someone break into your house or into your shed, I'm sorry, and stole some high-end equipment. Now, the city I live in isn't as well as your city, And I'm going to tell you, we really don't deal with much, but we do deal with a lot of drugs. There is a lot of drugs, overdoses from children, which is sad to say, and things like that. So our effect is more drugs, and your town seem to be an effect of theft. So, when you talk about crime and everything, how do you think it affects? Do you believe there is no effect on it because your city, you're basically having people come into your city and rob you guys? At least the people that are robbing us live in our city. But what do you think of that?
Well, I mean, they're going to go where the opportunity presents itself. Like I said, I mean, I think my city was voted like one of the second safest cities around. But was it like a couple months ago? My neighbor had her car stolen out of her garage. It's not indicative of the city. It's not indicative of anything. It's indicative of the opportunity because they admitted they left their garage door open overnight. I've done the same by accident, and I do the same thing. And they left their keys in the car. So,
But your area is so, it's like, I don't even know, so upscale that I find it hard to believe that a criminal would drive to your location and know that you have that vehicle, or even chance not being in that neighborhood, not being someone that's familiar, and then walk right in so freely and so comfortable to do that. I could see that where I'm from or where I live, because there's always different people walking around the streets in the neighborhood. So I would never think that someone just walking through my street per se is there to rob me. But in your neighborhoods and where you live, if someone, for instance, me, if I'm walking down the neighborhood, no one knows me. Nobody, if I'm there to visit you, they got to hang out and see what the hell's going on. So what I'm asking is, there is a difference of tolerance when it comes to crime in individuals. And I feel that if I am, for instance, from Lexington and I decide to walk down Solomon Pierce Street, you kidding me? I remember driving through it and right away I got pulled over by a security team that's privately run for that street. And they asked me, who are you here to see? What's their name? What's their address? That's how I feel your neighborhood is, because if you pull in, you do have your neighbors that call you up and say it. So to me, do you feel that in today's society that everyone should get into doing their own policing or crime watch themselves and work well with the police department and help curtail all this stuff?
Community policing can absolutely help. I mean, you only can be police officers can only be so many places, very few places, in fact, and it's almost always a reaction as opposed to proactive. But I mean, think about it. 5 cops in a decent sized town as opposed to 5,000 people who actually give a shit and they're out there, looking out for something. What the person may be doing may be completely innocent, but if it's innocent, no big deal. But you gotta be proactive. You see, what is it? See something, say something. Don't they say that all the time? 4th of July, anywhere.
My background is snitches get stitches, so I don't know. So there might be a different type of raise, but you know what? To me, it is, if I see something, obviously I am gonna interact with that issue and problem, but some people aren't bred that way for it. So it's hard to say, will people say, see something, say something? The answer is, we know this. Maybe 30% of the people in today's society would agree with that comment. The rest would not.
It depends if you definitively, is somebody just walking around the street that doesn't belong, should you call the cops? No. I mean, but if you see something that is wrong, you see somebody like climbing through the window of your neighbor's house, I think a high percentage of people are going to say it. Crashes happen on the highway. When crashes happen on the highway, this isn't, again, so much see something, say something, but you'll get like 40 phone calls. Like 40 people will call up because they want to be involved. They want to say something about it. So, again, if I see you walking through my neighborhood, I'm not going to call. You call the police. I think that's just wrong. Just because somebody's walking through your neighborhood. But something, if you climb through my neighbor's window, I think I might make a quick phone call. But people need to help the police to do the right thing. I mean, like you said, my shed got broken into. I had a couple $1,000s worth of lawn equipment stolen. And I can empathize with people because, like, kind of felt violated.
I'm not gonna disagree with you that because I find it interesting that when you say lawnmowers where they're pretty heavy, that in your neighborhood that you live in is a cul-de-sac, and someone was able to pull in and just walk out with those things.
Well, specifically, it was two backpack blowers. One was actually brand new, and so they could easily carry them. But I paid like $600 for a freaking blower, and I must have had it like 3 weeks, and the guy came in and stole it.
Hold on, Chris. I get this. Hold on. Let's do
Yeah.
this. If anyone knows Chris's snow blowers or whatever hell he's missing right now, contact us immediately. Let's get these things back. I got you. So, Chris, listen, it was interesting that you were speaking about something and it came to little fruition. I was thinking to myself. So there was a situation that happened in New York, and a police officer was jumped and beaten by migrants. What I noticed was this: when one person was filming it, I noticed there was several other people filming this incident. How do you feel that's impacted you, or your brother Blue, with every time you're interacting with someone, 3 to 100 people have phones out hoping to get the next success on Instagram or TikTok? Does that affect on how you react?
If they're not helping me,
Well, they're just filming you, Chris. You came across, I'm sitting there, me and Rob over here in an argument. You come over, and now everyone's got us all on TikTok right now.
that's fine. That's fine. I'm going to do the right thing anyway. I don't know why you need to do it. Actually, because now majority of departments have body cameras.
Well, I'm talking about pedestrians. I'm talking about outsiders that want to get in. So I've noticed that anytime I've watched it, I've watched like another officer walk forward and tell you, hey, get away, give us space. And the person's arguing with you. I don't have to give you space. I'm not invading you. I can film. It's my legal right. Is it a legal right to film while you're trying to arrest somebody or detain an individual?
They can film, but they also need to, like I said, give us some space. What if something happens? I mean, it's for your safety. What happens if the fight goes bad, or the guy pulls out a gun or a knife and you're like 5 feet away?
But what's safety to you? How far does an individual have to be away to consider it to be safe?
You can film me just fine from 20 feet away.
From 20 feet away.
What is there a difference?
Well, do I believe
you could zoom?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't waste my time to film you, but somebody's gonna want to. 20 feet it's too far. I can't get in and see what I want to see.
You got free zoom. All right, you want to talk about filming? How about the and again, I'm not trying to freaking bash this.
Bash it, bro.
The poor lady that got burned alive.
Oh, God bless her.
And the guy who freaking filmed it sat there and oh man, that's terrible, whatever the fuck you were saying. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, take your jacket off and put her out. Don't sit there film her burning alive, which doesn't get much worse than that.
So take that from an aspect. To me, I look at it as an arrestable offense. While you're watching someone burn to death and you're sitting there where you could help save that life by possibly grabbing a fire extinguisher that's there on the train, or possibly rolling her on the ground or doing something you can interact to help stop that. Do you feel that person should be justified? And then for him to put it on film and then sell it, I heard he's gotten a lot of money from it. How does that?
I am not.
I know you're not an attorney or anything, but I'm just talking as an individual, not even an officer.
Some states, I'm sure, have failure to act laws and stuff like that. But something like that, yeah, that's wrong on 100 levels. Selling it's obviously wrong, but sitting there and watching it, I just think that's just, that's just bad. I'm at a loss of words. How could somebody sit there and watch somebody burn alive? And and I don't even know if he could have saved her or not saved her or whatever, but at the same, the clothes are going to be burning first, but at the same token, you got to try, and filming is just messed up. And even if you're not going to act, which is still wrong, don't freaking film it. It's unbelievable.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Also, didn't she stand up and she didn't even, there wasn't a scream, there wasn't anything, and she just walked and then died right on the spot without anything? And I believe someone from the upper world, God, protected her from the pain and everything, because I've had to deal with burn victims, and I've seen and been there when it's happened, and I've heard them scream and cry. And from what I'm hearing is this lady didn't say one word.
The part I saw, it was kind of like blurred out when I looked it up, and it was kind of blurred out, so you couldn't really quite see it. It was a little bit blurry. But was it that, or was it, obviously there's the pain, there's the burning, the clothes are burning first, but also you got to look at the fact that, not a doctor, but so you're engulfed in flames, which is taking all the oxygen. So maybe she didn't have
Suffocating.
oxygen to speak, because you need oxygen, you need to inhale, you need to inhale and exhale to speak. And she didn't have any oxygen in which to say anything, because if you're engulfed in flames, there is no oxygen because the flames are using it all.
Okay.
But again, that's something for a doctor.
Well, we're gonna cut it for today, but these are gonna be a bunch of things that are gonna be coming up. Obviously, it's our first run, so we've been trying out to see what we're gonna play with. We are gonna have a bunch of things coming around very soon. And I hope every time we click on, we start to have a lot of questions coming in. And please follow us at
Security Tales.
Security Tales. You got to go to YouTube and hit the
@sign.
@sign.
Search @Security Tales on
Search
YouTube.
at. I just saw it go up. Is someone giving me the finger? Look at that, Rob. Did someone just give me the finger?
Tony.
Tony.
Guardians Capital Primo.
But
That's right. What's up, primo? Es vida, mos. Es vida.
send in your ideas. You want us to talk about something? You want to freaking bash
Please.
us? Go right ahead. You want us to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Listen, and obviously you could send it over to the to my instant messenger on the Facebook. We do have a Facebook, and everyone that's on, I really appreciate it if you follow that Facebook, which is
@Security Tales. It needs some work. It's not ready yet, but you can start following.
so the Facebook account is
Security Tales.
Security Tales. You follow that, and then me and Chris will be here every week, and we're looking for anything and everything anyone wants to talk about. I don't want to say our guy's name behind
Robbie the Robber.
Robbie the Robber here states that it's like a Seinfeld episode. I don't want to talk about nothing. This will give us more practice and more material to move forward on. But we have a lot that we're building on right now. Chris, you want to say something, bro?
No, just please let us know what you want to talk about. We'll talk about anything that interests you. You have any problems, or you have anything that you want us to address, or you want to talk anything you want to talk about. We can go in 7 different directions. Obviously, we're talking about what we think, and kind of stay in our realm. But something, if you want to talk about something else, we'll either find the answers or we'll make them up.
And even this, if you're from a town that you have an issue with a situation that's occurred or happened personally to you, or something that you want to know about, if we're able to get that information, we would have no issues in finding out what's going on and get you those answers. On top of it, we will have you able to come on and join us on Robbie the Robber Zoom.
Yes, you can call in on Zoom.
You can call in on Zoom. Once again, this was a trial run, and I hope you guys pass it on to your friends and get the views going on our YouTube @Security Tales. Click on it. Let's build this up. Let's get some real Boston people here. I'm getting sick and tired of seeing everybody else in different states do these things, and we're not even heard of. We're always heard of a backward state or something. Or where are you from? Masshole or something. I want to fix that. I want people to understand that we're highly educated, even though we got this killer accent. Thank you so much, man. All you guys be blessed, be healthy, and Lord bless you with wealth. Thank you.
Thank you.